Hi everyone, it's Kimberly. Let's see, so I've had a wonderful meditation today and a lot of soul cleansing and things of that nature. So I just wanted to try to finally delve into the twin flame love. And let's see, I'm going to start with maybe doing signs. How do you know that you've met your twin flame? And I think what we're going to do, this will be a multi-part kind of segmented discussion. And we're going to start with the signs today, and then we'll move into stages and things that follow and whatnot, and working on your soul growth during all of that, right? So, first thing, I guess, signs of, how do you know that you've met your twin flame? I guess that's the main thing that people want to know. Have I met a soulmate or have I met a twin flame? And, you know, I have a cheat sheet. I'll be honest with you. I wrote my own notes, and just because I want to make sure that I try to stay on topic and cover everything. And by all means, this is just quite a few of the obvious signs, or maybe to give you something to think about, right? I guess the first thing is there's like this immediate bond, right? There's this instant, hey, I know this person and I know them on a deep level. I know that we talked about soulmates, and it is very much like a soulmate bond, but there's just something about it that's a little bit different, right? Almost to the fact where you know, like you just know deep down in your core that you're meant to be with this person. And like I said before, with soulmates can be a plethora of relationship statuses, right? It could be a sister, it could be a mom, it could be, a coworker, a friend. But the thing with the twin flame is that it's always romantic. It's always on the romantic sense. And I'll go ahead and tell you, sometimes it's very tumultuous. Twin flame relationships are not easy relationships. There's a lot of soul growth and things that happen during that relationship. But as far as like, and I'll get to that in a different segment, but I'm sorry, I have to really, really focus on this one because otherwise it could just go way off. But, but back to the whole, how do you know that you've met this person? How do you know that you've met your twin soul, your twin flame? And, there's even things that, little signs as far as, the two of you kind of look alike, I have a sister who has met her twin flame, and the two of them actually they look alike. It's weird. It's not like brother sister. It's just the similarities, just how they look, So that's a couple of things. Let's see, telepathy, and it's kind of, let's see, touch base with the telepathy. It's you're thinking the same things, or have you ever done this where you're getting ready to pick up the phone and call that person, and they call you at the same time, or you think of something funny and it reminds you of them, and you send it to them, and the same thing has happened, right? Like they know that you're getting ready to contact them. You're on the same wavelength, right? You get it. Things like that. The synchronicities are another thing. With twin flames, there's no denying it. The synchronicities are always there, because, and the reason why is because you're mirrors of one another. So it's quite interesting, just to, when you come into this type of relationship and you see yourself in that other person, it's going to blow you away. It really is. And hopefully a lot of you are there. And I'll be honest with you, now is a time, the earth has just opened up. It's the time that we need the most love. And twin flames are unconditional love, right? That's why they're brought together. That's why they're not just soulmates, they're twin flames. And we are going to see more and more of these twin flame relationships, developing throughout this world, because it's time for that. It's time for the growth to begin. It's time for the unconditional love to be set forth and to be projected out. and it's just, it's a beautiful thing, really. It's beautiful to be able to be connected to your other half. And I say your other half, really, I mean, this is some debate, right? You know, twin flames, some people think that, you know, that twin flames don't reside with you within the same realm, meaning that they're not reincarnated during the same time frame that you are, that they remain in spirit. And that's just not the case, right? You know, I wholeheartedly believe that we're put here and we're put forth in relationships to help build us up to our twin flame relationship, right? We'll see things in soulmates, you know, and these are the soulmates that come in kind of like a romantic level, right? They're presented to us as, you know, as bits and pieces of what our twin flame actually is. And it's to help prepare us, to help, you know, kind of build that knowledge. Because quite honestly, you know, if you didn't have that, those previous relationships, what would happen is when you met your twin flame, it'd knock the socks off of you, you know, and you just wouldn't be quite prepared, because quite honestly, there's a lot of work. And when I go back to the whole tumultuous standpoint of things, is when the two of you meet, it's, you know, there's the instant, I'm going to call it the instant gratification honeymoon phase, right? It's like the all is well, you know, like we totally get it, we connect, it's like right on. But that phase fizzles, right? And it's not that it fizzles completely, okay? What happens is that you're shown what it could be like, what it's going to be like. You're shown, you know, just the beautiful relationship aspect when the unconditional love is present. Because the more that you spend time with your twin flame, and I'm delving into some of the stages here, but you know, when you come together, you have that honeymoon phase, right? And then you start seeing the mirror image of one another, right? So you start seeing yourself and the things that you need to work on. So therefore you separate, right? And, you know, I really need to stop talking about that there, because I'm going to pick that up in another video. But, you know, the thing is that it's all about soul growth. It's all about being able to reconnect with your other half, your yin and yang, folks. Okay, that's just the way it is. There's the masculine energy, there's the feminine energy. And the two of you have to come together, but when you come together, you've got to work on stuff. You got to remember, this goes back to the whole clearing the table, right? We're putting things on the table, we're clearing them out, we're getting our vessels clean, we're preparing ourselves to be able to project that lovely, beautiful, unconditional love energy that the world needs, okay? So, all right, I'm going to refocus now. So some more signs, you know, the chemistry is just crazy, right? The two of you come together, and it's passion. It's just crazy. It's like off the charts. You haven't ever experienced anything like that before. You know, physically when you come together, everything is just like spot on. You know, like you're healthy, you know, your body is reacting to the way that it's supposed to, because you're balanced, right? You know, so just think about those things. You know, and I'll go ahead and tell you, it's part of when you go to separate for the first time. When you separate for the first time because you're getting ready to work on yourselves, you go through these crazy physical changes. You go through, you know, this, I'm just going to call it kind of like a purging. Like you're working on yourselves, right? Let's see. You know, emotions are extreme. Emotions can be extreme. It's, you know, when you separate, you're sad. You know, when you come together, you're happy, and it's just beautiful. You know, so just maybe take those things into consideration if you're questioning, you know, am I in a twin flame relationship? How does all of that work, and how does all of that play out? Let's see. Oh, synchronicities. I talked about that. But the Fibonacci sequence, I know that a lot of you watching this are probably understanding that maybe you're seeing 11s, 1111. Like if you look at a clock, you know, it says 1111 or 311 or 111. Those are signs that you're on the right path. That's what that means. And, you know, so I suggest, you know what, if you have the opportunity to Google or look up Fibonacci sequence, do so. You know, those are angelic signs coming through saying that you're on the right path and that that everything is in divine order. So let's see, what else? You know, you just know, I think I've talked about this, you just know that you're on the right path, that you know that deep down in your soul that you're meant to be together. You know, it's just one of these, like, you can't deny it. It doesn't matter if, you know, you've had like this horrible breakup because the two of you came together and then like you departed ways. But there's still something there deep down inside that says, you know what, I just can't dismiss this. I can't dismiss it, and I don't know why. That's probably a sign that you're, you know, with your twin flame, or, you know, that you need to be with your twin flame. But, you know, the thing is that you have to work on yourself before you can even be with that person as a whole. Because what happens is, you know, we're, like I said, we're getting ready to bless the world because twin flames come together for spiritual reasons. The two of you have made a connection and a commitment to one another prior to being incarnated into this lifetime to be able to fulfill your life purpose. And you do that together, right? So, you know, it's a spiritual thing, it's an emotional thing, it's an intellectual thing, everything's there. But it has to be clean, right? That relationship has to be totally clean before you can release it to the world. So if you find, you know, that you're struggling with, oh, I think I've just met my twin flame and we've separated, you know, I'm going to delve into that. I really am, because I think that's very important. What happens when you first separate and before you're reunited? And just FYI, folks, when you meet your twin flame, rest assured, you may be going through some shit, you know, and you may be cleansing, and you may be going through, you know, what you think is like the most roughest time ever on this earth. But rest assured that you will be reunited with your twin flame. And when that happens, you know, it's going to be a beautiful thing. And the two of you are going to make such a beautiful impact on this world. You know, so just stay positive about it, right? So anyway, so I think that's a quick little synopsis on some of the signs, like how do I know I've met my twin flame? And that's not all of them. That's just a few that I just kind of wanted just to put out there. But anyway, so I think the next segment that I'll touch base on the stages of twin flame relationships, and you know, we'll kind of just go through those and just see how, you know, if any of them relate to you. Maybe you can figure out which stage you're in, and we'll go from there. Okay, so as always, I wish you much love and much light. Ciao.
Ciao.